Infuriating is the word that comes to mind when I'm talking about the Sony XM6 earbuds. So much so that I am standing outside in what is, hang on, let me show you this. -9 degrees. -9 degrees. I don't know if that's in focus. And it's snowing. And I could take you to a place where there's a beautiful snow-capped, like there's a little forest thing nearby. I could take you there, but I'm going to stand in this parking lot instead, because that is kind of the theme of this video. Infuriating. And you might say, why do you say that? Well, let me explain. Oh, and for our regular viewers, no, I'm not back. But I'm annoyed. My name's Abhishek, this is What's New, and we're talking about the Sony XM6. And where do I begin? Well, fit and comfort, arguably the most important thing for all earbuds. This might be the only time I've ever seen a company go backwards in terms of case. This, compared to the last two generations, is more boxy, more sharp-edged, and bigger in the pocket. And I can't think of a single other brand that has made the active choice to do that. Now, this isn't infuriating, this is only annoying because it's not that much of a deal breaker, it's just weird. Because once you actually take the earbuds out, you realize, my God, is everything better. So the X Mark IV was too big in the ear and it just kept bouncing around when you, oh my God, it's cold. I'm just gonna duck over here. So I did the whole video outside. I did it in that parking lot and I made my point and need to realize there was snot running down my nose and I did not realize it because I couldn't feel my face. It's that cold out there. But back to the point at hand, because when you take the earbuds out, you realize they've improved it in every single way. See, the X Mark IV was too big in the ear. So it was big, it was bulky, it was heavy, and it would bounce around because it didn't lodge properly, at least not in my ear. They fixed that with the X Mark V by making it smaller and thereby making it fit a lot more people, but it still wouldn't lodge properly and it would still bounce around. So when I went for a workout, and this is not just me, this is a lot of people, it just wouldn't stay properly. This time around, I think they've found something that actually works. They've found a form factor, the formula that works. Because what they've done is actually, focus, there we go. They haven't made it that much bigger than the X Mark V, they've made it longer. So now, if I've got it in my ear and I'm running about, it doesn't bounce at all. It is so snug and it's still so lightweight despite being bigger that I basically forget that it's even in my ear. That is awesome. This is better in every single way, and I think going forward this is the form factor they should use. A genuine improvement. Now, one small point of note, they use these foam tips. Now, I know a lot of people don't like the foam tips, but they do work pretty well, but you must upsize them. Now, I'm normally a medium, but for this earbud I upsized to a large because that just seems to fit better, and that might be something that works for you as well. Which brings us to the Sound Connect app. Now, when it comes to app and features, I've long had some pet peeves. One, the app is a complete mess, or has been for the last couple of years. It still is. But from a features point of view, they've done something that I have been bleating on about for the past couple of years, and I'm going to take full credit for it now because they fixed it. Ladies and gentlemen, we finally have customizable touch controls, and not just different types of sets of touch controls that you can just swap out. Every gesture can be bound to every different function, pretty much. That is awesome. We don't have volume up and down on the swipe, but you can now, basically make anything volume up and down. A double tap, a triple tap. Touch and hold is my favorite. Touch and hold here for up, touch and hold here for down. It works, and it works great. And thank you, Sony, for finally listening to all the feedback and actually making it happen. Kudos where kudos is due. They've also made the quick access gesture more relevant, because before this, the quick access gesture was something that you could just double tap into Endel. And if you don't know what that is, yes, that is my point. Who the heck uses Endel? Almost nobody. Now, what they've done is, in the last year, they've actually added Spotify, Apple Music, and YouTube Music. Meaning, finally, when you're going to the gym or something, if you want to use the quick access feature, it actually gets you a playlist from your preferred, or most likely preferred, music app of your choice. So that is really, really good. They have listened to feedback. They've made things better. But the app, the way to get to all this is still the app, and the app is still, it's a mess. That's not infuriating, that's mostly annoying, but not as annoying as the next thing. Let's start with noise cancelling. Now, normally I do noise cancelling myself, but I'm traveling and crappy hotel rooms don't have the equipment that I need to test it out in my way, which I think is a much better way, where I test noise coming from different directions and see how it handles it for consistency. But for the purposes of this video, we're going to use a Sound Guys graph, and the Sound Guys graph is good enough. I'm going to put the graph up right now. On this graph, higher is better, which means where you see the curve hitting the top, the peaks, you get the best noise cancelling, and you can see that it is very high. I mean, we're talking 40 decibels, which is 40 decibels is incredible. It is game changing. It is top tier, S tier levels of noise cancelling, the kind of, oh, Bose should be shaking in their boots level of noise cancelling. Let me tell you a little bit of a story. I went to the theater day before yesterday, and I saw Project Hail Mary. It's a sci-fi movie, kind of fun. You should go check it out. Ryan Gosling plays this quirky character. It's super fun. There's an alien, also fun. In fact, arguably the alien was the better character, but that's not the point. The point is, I was in the theater and I was watching the trailers. You know how trailers are? They're very loud, they're fun. It's kind of a fun part of the movie experience, and I had 15 minutes of trailers, and I thought, wow, wouldn't this be the perfect test for noise cancelling? So I put these on and I listened, and everything went dead silent. I'm talking dead silent, ladies and gentlemen. I kept doing this. What? Because everything got dead silent. This is so good. This is so good noise cancelling. It was like watching the trailers on a TV at like a low volume. It was crazy good. Right up to the point where it wasn't. I could still hear that one guy talking in the theater 2 rows down. Why? Well, let's look at that graph again. You see the peaks? That's 40 decibels, and I believe it. It is fantastic. And now some of you are wondering, oh, 40 decibels is not that great. I've seen other earbuds, Nothing and OnePlus, and they say up to 60 decibels of noise cancelling. Not true. Not in the real world. That is just marketing fluff. This earbud actually does it. But if you look at the graph, there's a valley. And the effect of that is that it cancels the shit out of everything else, but it lets some voices through. And the way the human mind works, it works on contrast. So if you're sitting in your office and you're cancelling everything out, and you can hear that one guy talking, then that guy is now more noticeable than if he was just being drowned out by all the background noise, which is unfortunate. But what does this actually mean to you? Okay, what this means is, like me, if you use noise cancelling on the go, on commutes and whatnot, this thing is fantastic. It cancels the shit out of everything. Everything gets so quiet, it is remarkable. If you listen to this with music running, that's fine. But if you are one of those people who sit in the office and try and put these on, noise cancelling, just so you can get your work done, there's nothing running, it's just you want everything quieter, it will get quieter, except Santosh, who never shuts up, across the room, will be in your head forever. No offense to any Santoshes there. But my point is, it's weird. Why would Sony go through such lengths to get such amazing noise cancelling and then leave this set of frequencies out of the middle? I don't know. But they've done it, and the effect is palpable. It's still one of the best noise cancelling products in the market. But you will notice that Bose and Apple, all of them are now going for more consistency. If they're doing 30 decibels, they're doing 30 decibels across the frequency range. They're really trying to do that. That is the focus of the market right now. And Sony seems to have said, fuck that shit, we're just gonna max where we can max and then forget the rest. And you begin to see my problem now. That is infuriating. They could have had the best noise cancelling, and they do kind of have the best noise cancelling in the business at the moment, but they choose to leave this gap. I'm beginning to think they're doing it just for us tech reviewers to have something to talk about, in which case, thank you, Sony, but honestly, just why? Why? Which brings us to transparency. Now, transparency has never been a hallmark of Sony. They don't do the kind of transparency that Bose and Apple does. You know, the kind of transparency where you put on the earbud and it just, basically you forget that the earbud is even there. It's that kind of natural transparency. They don't do that. They do this transparency where it amplifies certain sounds, and this is no different. But what is very annoying, nay, infuriating, is that earlier when I had reviewed the Sony XM6 headphone, that transparency was like Bose and Apple, more or less. It wasn't quite there, but it was getting there. You could tell that they were trying to make it more natural, and for some reason, they just gave up. They just, they can do it. They've done it. They just choose not to. I don't know why. It's not the end of the world. I barely ever use transparency, but knowing that they could have got to your transparency because they were working on that sort of thing and that they just chose not to give it is very, very infuriating to me. But forget transparency, let's talk about sound quality because that's what we're really here for. This is a Sony product, you expect great sound quality. Fine, let's talk about it. I bought this for $300. I thought, okay, I'm going to check it out. If I don't like the sound quality, I'll return it tomorrow. Use that return policy, save myself $300. Hell yeah. And when I put it on, I thought I was going to save $300 because it sounded awful. Now, if you're not much of an audiophile, this will sound exciting and intimate and very in your face because it's very bass boosted and vocals are front and center and all those things. But if you've heard anything that sounds good, you will immediately notice that it also sounds boxy and weird and the timbre was off. It just didn't sound natural. Why? I don't know, but I knew it wasn't good. But me being me, of course, I availed of the EQ. And I did something very simple. I'm going to show you the EQ so you can take a screenshot yourself. And basically, I took the stock EQ and I did this. As you can see, I have dropped the mid bass and I've kind of left the sub bass more or less where it is, just a little bit of a tweak. And the result was shocking. So with the bass reduced, everything sounded natural. Everything sounded airy. Vocals sounded beautiful. The spacing, the imaging, the soundstage was so good. If I was watching a movie, I could hear things that are coming from there versus coming from there. It is such a good earphone. It is fantastic. And the bass is actually good quality bass. Not the most punchy, but pretty darn punchy. Like nothing is doing a pretty good job of punchy, tight, in-your-face bass. OnePlus does a fantastic job of that, the drivers they use. But Sony uses their own in-house drivers, and in my opinion, it's actually improved over the last couple of years. The X Mark IV was awesome. The X Mark V was a travesty because it sounded very forced. But this time around, guys, they've actually made it good. But two things. Number one, there is one caveat. There is a little bit of sibilance that comes through. So sibilance means that your S sounds and your, anything that's a little trebly comes out a little sharp on certain songs. Not everywhere, but on certain songs. And the fix for that is very simple. Just drop the 6 kHz slider by 2 or 3 notches. Except, and you'll notice this, there is no 6 kHz slider. There is 1 kHz, 2 kHz, 4, 8, 16. There's no 6. Why, Sony? Why would you do this? All you had to do is give that one extra slider and we could have knocked it down. Is it a deal breaker? No, I think your mind can get used to this, and I think in some songs it does affect it, but in most cases it is pretty even sounding. Maybe I am just a little extra sensitive, but what I am not extra sensitive to, and what you will also notice, is that out of the box this sounds horrible, but with EQ this sounds kind of awesome. It's really good. It is by far one of the best sounding earbuds I've heard, provided you mess with the EQ. And that's the problem. Do you see why this is infuriating? How can this be so good and so bad at the same time? And this is a theme that has been continuing throughout this video. It started off just being irritating, right? So, wow, is this triggering you? Is this all slanted like that? Okay, hang on. There we go. Is that better? That's better. All right. It started off with minor things, like why did they make the case bigger? Why does it still feel a little bit cheap when I'm holding a $300 device? $330 actually, but it didn't matter because the earbuds were genuinely better than anything before it because they were comfortable. I've forgotten that they're in my ear as I was shooting this video. It's kind of awesome. Then there's the app. The app is a mess, but they finally gave you touch controls. So, they still have a lot of work to do. For some reason, they didn't do the work, but they have genuinely improved certain things. All this was irritating and annoying, but not infuriating. But if you say $300 device, you expect a little bit more. But then you talk about the sound quality and things are genuinely just infuriating. You've got noise cancelling, which is freaking god tier, except when it's not. And to some people, that's going to be very, very annoying. So I can't just blindly recommend it to anyone. And then you've got the transparency where they have told you, they have shown you how they can do good transparency on another device of the same generation. They just chose not to on the earbuds. The headphones have better transparency and more natural transparency, and the earbuds don't. Make that make sense to me. And finally, the sound quality. The one thing that this is supposed to be good for, this is a Sony device. What the hell happened, man? How can something be so bad out of the box and then after a little bit of EQ so damn good? Oh, I forgot to mention, here's a fun thing. If you turn ANC off, the sound signature becomes more even, better sculpted, and more nicely done overall. Bass gets reined in. It's weird. It's like the actual EQ is there with the ANC off, but when the ANC goes on, they just bass boosted it. And for some reason, the engineers decided to bass boost it in the worst way possible. It's just horrible. But with EQ, it becomes one of the best sounding earbuds I've had in a while, apart from maybe things like the Technics AZ100, which is also awesome. So tell me how the heck I'm supposed to recommend this blindly. This might be the best earbud I've ever used that I can't straight away recommend. So instead, I'm going to tell you this. I bought this for $300 with the express intention of testing it and giving it back to save the $300, but have a little idea and have a little insight into what the device was like. After having used it initially, I thought, yeah, I'm definitely going to save my money. Good they have a return policy. But, and I thought about this long and hard yesterday, and as I used it more and more, I can safely say, after I did the little bit of EQing, the way I use noise cancelling with music running always, and taking into consideration the fact that the earbuds are genuinely improved with the customizable touch controls and the better form factor and the lightness, I can safely say that I am just going to be out $300. Make of that what you will. Is that annoying? Does this review give you clarity? I don't know. And that might be infuriating to you, which is great because now you know how I feel.